What's going on, Jerome's beautiful Wednesday? Happy hump day out there to those who celebrate, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, yes, Michael Penix Jr., the pride of Washington, already looks good in purple and gold. Yes, the medicals, yes, the age, yes, everything, but big-time arm, and if the Vikings don't want to trade into the top four, but I feel like there's been a massive campaign as of late to really hype up Michael Penix Jr. Not that they really needed hyping up, but Jordan Schultz, Bleacher Report. So this is funny. Was sent this picture yesterday after speaking on The Herd about how dialed in Michael Penix is. Was told Penix's apartment mirrors all were covered in play designs. Here's a picture the staff took when he moved out of his LA apartment, which, I don't know, got various formations, blah, 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 blah. So, I don't know, man. Like, I understand that this looks good, but I feel like this is doing too much. I feel like if Penix or his agent actually did put this out, I feel like doth protest too much. Because I feel like, I mean, this isn't really high-level stuff. I mean, this looks like the basic high school playbook, or basic, like, newfangled playbook from, like, a 7-on-7 league, minus the offensive lineman. Also, it looks like Penix in the corner taking the picture. Also, they said this apartment's moved out. How come all the toiletries are still there? Is this... Wait, first off, character red flag. Is this how Penix leaves rental properties? So leaves all of his crap out there and also just leaves graffiti on the mirrors? Second round. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do love me some Michael Penix Jr. So we had this rant today. If everything goes right, which is hard to ask from some of these quarterbacks, but if everything goes right and Penix stays healthy, I mean, his ceiling is here. A lot of other quarterback ceiling is here. Chase Daniel, a longtime journeyman backup involved in the media now, NFL Network, he had a good breakdown here. You can't tell me Michael Penix Jr. is not one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this year's class if you've actually broken down his film and watched him. If you say different, you don't know ball. He's a magician out there. He put on a performance for the ages versus Texas in Sugar Bowl, and that's what we said. But his performance and also everyone else on the Huskies' performance against Michigan does sort of sour things. But so, not gonna lie. So I was up a lot of these Saturdays, watching late night football, Pac-12 after dark, RIP, and Washington and Penix. They were in close games all year, but they would always find a drive. Penix would always keep things alive, and he's special. His leadership, his arm talent is certainly there. Does he have things to work on? Yes, absolutely. But if AI only looked at the tape and you didn't factor in medicals, you didn't factor in age, you didn't factor in anything else, just how they played on the field, you could make a very good case that, I mean, hell, could you say that Penix was actually better than Caleb Williams and Drake Maye last year? Possibly. Possibly. But what's buoying them up is how they played in 2022, and that has to factor in as well. But I mean, Penix, he had a bad game against Michigan. Caleb Williams had an ass game, against Notre Dame. Drake Maye had a bad game against Clemson. Jaden Daniels had a horrible game against Georgia in 2022. He didn't have many bad games last year, let's be honest. But I'm still in on Penix, and I fully understand why people would be out on him. But I feel like if the Vikings, they don't trade up into the top 5 for one of the big 4 quarterbacks, I could see Penix as a solid fallback option, even though he is certainly a gamble. Speaking of gamble, so Drake Maye, of course, this is I feel like the BS train is picking up steam. I feel like now everyone's talking in circles. I don't believe anything that's leaked, but if you go into the process knowing that, you can have fun with it, right? So just don't be like a dog chasing cars, like every single rumor. Oh, did you hear this? Just like everything is like, this is fun, but it's probably BS. Purple Persuasion put this together. Per AFC offensive coach via Burt Breer, Drake Maye is so talented, he will be the number 1 pick in like 80% of drafts. He's a puppy. He's so young. He's so talented. He can make every throw. He's a freak. He has no limitations. The coach compared him to Justin Herbert. Now, yeah, the upside is certainly there, but the downside is there as well. Plus, he kind of looks like Herbert, doesn't he? It feels like if Justin Herbert, the DNA of Justin Herbert was merged with the DNA of Kevin O'Connell. And also you had Josh McCown's jawline. There you go. But the variance is certainly there with Drake Maye. I think that he is I think he has a higher ceiling and a lower floor than McCarthy and probably Daniels as well. But looking through, so these were the first number 1 overall picks of various drafts going back to 2011. Now, where did you put Drake Maye? So 2011 Cam Newton, probably Cam, right? Even though the league didn't know what to do with Cam initially, and I think what Carolina did with him was just let him play. That's exactly what you need to do. League MVP from back in the day, took him to a Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. 2012 Andrew Luck, it's luck. I mean, generational prospects you can count on one hand. So Luck, Peyton Manning, John Elway. I do not consider Caleb Williams in that strata, right? Eric Fisher, obviously Drake Maye would be one. Clown Shoes, it's kind of an off year too. That was the Manziel and Teddy Bridgewater year as well. So Blake Bordelais going 3. I think Drake Maye would have been the first quarterback taken. Jameis 2015 would have been Maye. Goof. All right, so 2016 was Goof, Wentz. I think he would have gone first. Myles Garrett in 2017. That's close. That was the draft with Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Oh, also, guess who the number 2 overall pick in 2017 was? Mitchell Trubisky-Ponder. Baker Mayfield. It would have been Maye. Although, I mean, Baker's time in Oklahoma is pretty damn good, man. Kyler would have been Maye. Joe Burrow would have been Burrow. Yeah, Burrow over Maye in that spot. 2021, even though I feel like history has colored Trevor Lawrence because it hasn't really panned out quite yet. I mean, he's been fine, but he hasn't been Trevor Lawrence as of yet. But I still think Trevor Lawrence would have been the number 1 pick over Drake Maye in 2021. Would have been first in 2022. 2022 might have been the worst quarterback class in NFL history. It was bad. So Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick, and then Ritter and Willis. Man, baby. Then last year, Bryce Young, Stroud, Richardson. I mean, Maye would have been in the mix for sure. And would have been interesting. Like, if Maye was able to declare after his sophomore season, he had a major 2022 year, who knows, man? Who knows? But, of course, this is all revisionist history because he's not in those drafts. He's in this draft, and it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. Also, speaking of where he goes, is a team that could be looking for a quarterback is the Giants. So the Giants are sitting at 6, and even though the Broncos are desperate, and we'll talk about them in a second, I mean, the Giants, if they wanted to move up, they would be the most appealing, you would think, for teams like the Patriots or the Cardinals because you don't have to drop down too far, and you're still able to get your guy as opposed to dropping down to 11 or 12, right? But the Giants, I mean, it seems like they're doing their diligence, and obviously Daniel Jones, maybe not so much, but Pat Leonard, beat reporter for the Giants. The time for a blockbuster trade at the top of the NFL draft is getting closer. The Giants are behaving like a team that intends to draft a quarterback, and Joe Schoen said nobody is slamming the door in the top 3 picks yet when the phone rings. Will Schoen wheel and deal to get his guy? Will he be able to, even if he tries? Examine Giants, blah, blah, blah. By the way, Joe Schoen, those are dead eyes. Those are like the eyes of Jaws. Got dead eyes, like a doll's eyes. Yeah, but if and when the Giants do want to move up, I mean, they certainly can. And that's the thing about it, too, is like the Vikings can't really trade up to 4 or 5 before the draft because, yes, at 4, beep, bop, up, boop, you will get one of the big 4, but you could be leapfrogged by the Giants. Now, I think 3 is pretty safe. 2 is obviously safe, but yeah, we'll see what the Giants want to do. But the Vikings do have that ammunition. Like, even though the Giants have 6, the Vikings have 2 first-round picks, something that other teams can't offer. So I guess we'll see. Yeah, and a player that so we got some funny comments about the whole J.J. McCarthy broccoli hair bussin' thing. It's like, I swear to everything that's holy. If the Vikings trade up 3 first-round picks to get J.J. McCarthy, and at his press conference he says, this offense is going to be bussin', no cap, move the team. Maybe Red McComb's right. Move this damn team to San Antonio. Get the hell out of here. Anyways, but yes, the Broncos could and should be looking to trade up. But, oh, by the way, so we mentioned Sean Payton yesterday in a video, but we missed a golden opportunity. Douche. 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 We can never miss an opportunity to play that. I think it's one of my favorite recurring bits. But anyways, yes, there is steam that stupid ass Sean Payton, SASP, is in on J.J. McCarthy. He even said so, right? But also, don't believe anything at this time of year, even if it comes out of someone's mouth. So That's what she said. But the whole thing about is, does that make sense? Sure. And if the Broncos want to move up, they don't have a second-round pick, but could they be prepared to offer multiple first-rounders, notably 3? So 2020, 12 overall, 2025, 2026, as well as there's speculation that they could be including Patrick Surtain in second. Now, that's delusional value, right? And frankly, all right, so say the Broncos are desperate to move up for McCarthy. Say it goes win, play, show, 1, 2, 3, Williams, Daniels, and Maye. And then the Cardinals get this offer from the Broncos of 3 firsts, including 12, and Patrick Surtain, which, I mean, Surtain's at least worth 2 first-round picks. So basically getting 5 first-round picks, let stupid-ass Sean Payton have them. I mean, let him have him. Where I feel like with Kwesi, he's very calculated, and he's not going to overpay on a trade-up. I think that's why things may be moving a little bit slow as right now. And the Vikings, like we said, they're perfectly fine sticking and picking at 11 and 23 or trading down from 11 or making moves for whatever. But I think the worst-case scenario would be giving up the farm for a quarterback. Yes, I mean, certainly has potential, but is an unknown. And I think given Kwesi's risk management, and also the fact that he's been learning on the job, I feel like the trade down with the Lions in 2022 was a mistake because he didn't get their first round pick in 2023, but water on the bridge. But he is learning on the job, and I don't see the Vikings giving up everything. Like, I think at maximum it'll be 11, 23, and a future first rounder for 3. I think that's it. I think 4, I don't think they'd get the future first rounder. 5, definitely not. So, again, if the Broncos want to give up 3 first-rounders and Surtain, let them have McCarthy. Go ahead. Stupid-ass Sean Payton wins, and hopefully McCarthy fails. Although, that's very mean, isn't it? But also, God, I would love Patrick Surtain. I don't know how the Vikings would get him. But, God, I would love Patrick Surtain in this defense with Brian Flores, man, especially since they want to play more man. Come on, man. Speaking of man, a man definitely signed in Detroit. DJ Reader, defensive tackle, team captain of the Bengals. Monster. Absolutely a stunner in the middle. He is going to pair up with Aleem McNeil in Detroit. The real deal with Aleem McNeil, the pride of NC State, who I love. And they're going to form a great duo on the inside. And he's talking with the awesome, the fantastic Kay Adams. Dan Campbell and the Lions only booked a one-way flight for DJ Reader when he came to visit Detroit, which is basically kidnapping. I feel like not only should the Falcons be investigated for tampering with Kirk Cousins, but the Lions should be investigated for kidnapping DJ Reader. I feel like docking some draft picks, maybe rescinding DJ Reader's contract, reopening his free agency. Maybe he comes over here. Who knows? Who knows, man? Speaking of the Bengals, so the Vikings superstar Justin friggin' Jefferson is training with Bengals superstar Jamar friggin' Chase. So obviously, college teammates. Obviously, did some amazing things with Jumpin' Joe Burrow at LSU back in the day. And the pipe dream would be if somehow, some way, the two of them teamed up. Now, the cap is a myth indeed, but at a certain point, things get a little bit snug, and it would be great to have a tier 1 receiver with another tier 1 receiver. It would be absolutely unfair. By the way, how would you like to be like a college cornerback who, you played a high-level college football, maybe in the SEC, and now, like, you gave it your best shot. Maybe you had a 90-man roster spot. You were in training camp with a team, but didn't quite work out, and now you're working as a trainer or a high school teacher, or you're selling insurance or whatever, and you tried to cover Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. You're like a 5'10" cornerback from Chattanooga Tech, and you're just like, maybe today's not our day. But I'm glad our athletic department is getting a check, man. But they're training together in the off season. It's fantastic. It's good to see. But in the back of my mind, I partially worry that JJ is all about winning, even though I don't think that he would do this. But would he and Chase get together and have a pact, and they both take less, like they take 66% of their market value just to team up with the Bengals? I don't know. But hell, if they're going to do that, could we explore that with the Vikings? Like, I love me some Jordan Addison, but speaking of Jordan Addison, so It's kind of funny. So, going through a book right now about the Messi and Barca years, and I mean, Barca FC. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, but you got to respect what Barca's done. Messi is the GOAT, the freaking greatest of all time. The Argentine is a freaking wizard, right? And for a handful of years, they had the absolute Trident, the MF and tripod of attacking players in Messi, Neymar, and Luis Suarez. Although, I mean, yeah, Neymar and Messi were a little bit older when they went to PSG, but I mean, they teamed up with Mbappe, but that's pretty good. But Luis Suarez, who I like, although he just keeps biting people, but of course he looked better in a different kid. Weird, right? But yes, the best attacking trio in football history, giving way to maybe another best attacking trio in football history. Now, Hawkinson, because he's got the largest teeth, Neymar and Addison have very similar footwork. I don't know, but Addison doesn't flop, though, so that's kind of nice. And, of course, Jefferson is just the low-key, quiet GOAT. That's right. So I posted this. A lot of people didn't understand. I barely understand, but who cares? Either way, it's good to go. But, yeah, Sons of Anarchy, but I don't know. Hawkinson, Addison, Jefferson, the Hodge attack, the Ja attack. We'll work it out. Doesn't matter. Anyways, that's it. Vikings news up on this beautiful Wednesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.